The Mid-South Tag Team Championship as Mr. Olympia and the Junkyard Dog defend against Ted DiBiase and Hacksaw Duggan.
Matchmaker Grizzly Smith was making Ted DiBiase have a match against Junkyard Dog since DiBiase was ducking the dog for weeks, and Junkyard Dog started boycotting TV matches. But DiBiase's demand was to get a Mid-South Tag Team title match against Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia before DiBiase would give Junkyard Dog a rematch for the North American Heavyweight title. DiBiase would team up with his new best friend, Jim Duggan.
Jockeying behind the scenes that's been going on with matchmaker Grizzly Smith and Ted DiBiase and the Junkyard Dog. As you know, the dog had refused to wrestle on television for 3 weeks, forcing matchmaker Grizzly Smith to do his best to get DiBiase in the ring. The dog wanted a North American title match with Ted DiBiase. DiBiase maintains he has defended the title against the dog and successfully, that before the dog can get a title bout here on television, he's got to get DiBiase and his partner Hacksaw Duggan, or Duggan, with 2 G's I believe, he's got to give them a Mid-South tag title match. My boy Pierce, the whole arena here at the Irish Neal Boys Club was just in tremendous anticipation of this match. The Junkyard Dog has been put in a position that he doesn't like and trying to force Grizzly Smith into a confrontation with him and DiBiase. So to show you the kind of man the dog is, he said, if we defend our titles and hang on to them successfully against DiBiase and Duggan, can I be guaranteed a title match here on television for the North American title? And DiBiase agreed. So this is the condition of this match. And of course, we know DiBiase and Duggan are going to do their best to defeat the dog and Mr. Olympia for the Mid-South titles, because DiBiase wants the dog out of Mid-South. He wants Redneck, an ex-Marine. They're just back to Boyd. Duggan said, want DiBiase to tag in, and DiBiase didn't want to get in there against the dog. Seemingly a little surprised. Fast-moving action, Boyd Pierce. There's the dog tagged in. Look at DiBiase, get out. He was doing some fast backpedaling over in that corner. Oh, Olympia shows Duggan that he's won that Mississippi title and he knows what he's doing in that ring. Snapmare. Tag made to the dog. He and Duggan have got their teamwork together, and it looks like the dog is the man they're trying to put down. But that 560-pound powerhouse bench presser, man that can bench press 560, powered out, showed Duggan just what that strength reserve gives you. But now DiBiase, while the dog is down, comes in and tries to capitalize on it. He's really waited till the dog was in trouble. Then he wanted the tag, and he is early out there trying to put the dog away. Mr. Olympia, the whole crowd giving the dog encouragement. DiBiase really trying to pull out the stops, put the dog down. Dog's back up, toe-to-toe. Headbutt. DiBiase raking the eyes. Duggan in. DiBiase and Duggan teaming up, trying to keep the dog in there, trying to keep a fresh powerhouse on it. Olympia shows what he's made of, shows it him. Always with the dog, 100%. It's breaking down now. Rules are out the book. They're all 4 in there. It's turned into a 4-man war. Referee Alfred Neely having a hard time trying to signify 1 man each, but it's out of control. These men they got things and scores to settle. That backfired on DiBiase and Duggan. They ran Duggan in. Oh, the dog's got DiBiase. Neely telling the dog to get out, and DiBiase's out. Tag was made. The dog has been tagged into the ring, but Duggan speared that illegal spear move, speared Olympia.
Towards the end of the match, Junkyard Dog was tagged in and was the legal man, with DiBiase and Duggan not realizing.
Yeah, the dog is the legal man in the ring, but Duggan I don't think is aware of the tag, and DiBiase's not aware of the tag. They think Olympia's still the legal man in, and DiBiase power slam. They think they got victory in their grasp. DiBiase into the figure 4. Alfred Neely's telling him, no. And here comes the dog. And Duggan doesn't know what's happening, but he's in there. Dog's firing away. Dog is the legal man in the ring, and DiBiase. Ted DiBiase, I'm sure, is confused right now, but the dog just stumped him, and there's the count. They've retained the Mid-South Tag Team titles.
Well, if they can hear the bell over the end of the crowd, they're going wild.
DiBiase and Duggan are really confused. They don't know what's happened.
The tag champions retained, but DiBiase was still making excuses to try to not have to take on Junkyard Dog one-on-one. To get out of fighting Junkyard Dog, DiBiase signed a contract to fight Dick Murdoch instead, knowing that he only had to defend the North American title once every 30 days.
The stipulation today on the tag title match is if you guys didn't win, if Dog and Olympia maintained their titles, that you would give the Junkyard Dog a North American title match here on television. And of course, next week, you're already signed against Dick Murdoch.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the match that took place here is the biggest ripoff that ever come down the pike. Now, Junkyard Dog was not the legal man in the ring. We had Olympia down in the middle of the ring. I had to figure 4 on him. He was giving up. He's saying, I quit. And not only did the referee let the Junkyard Dog back in the ring and let him beat on me, he let him thump me and pin me, and he actually counted a 3 count. Gave him the match and gave him the belts.
There's something wrong. There's something very wrong.
Conspiracy, that's right. And the second thing, as the North American Heavyweight Champion, I am only obligated to defend this title once in 30 days. Now next week, they're sending Dick Murdoch after me. If it's not Junkyard Dog, it's that crazy Buck Robley. Now it's Dick Murdoch. They're stacking the deck against me, Watts. They are stacking the deck against me because they want to get rid of me.
Duggan would prove to be the partner in crime that DiBiase needed.
Just looking at this man, just looking at the facial expressions of Hacksaw Duggan, and one might think this man really has no regard for anything or anybody. Tremendous strength to literally pick your opponent up, ram them in each turnbuckle. Tremendous. Man has not only tremendous power, this man can wrestle, he's got it all. That should be it, Boyd Pierce.
Duggan would play a part in DiBiase's title defense against Dick Murdoch.
Murdoch not waiting for a formal introduction. He's wanted to get Ted DiBiase in the ring. He has him. This is a sanctioned North American Heavyweight Championship match. Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch, the challenger, versus the champion Ted DiBiase.
Many people believe that it was Captain Redneck who really tutored Ted DiBiase when he was a rookie. But really, I don't know, and I really don't care. But all I can say now is Dick Murdoch's got his hands full. Now look at him. He's illegal, using fists. And there once again is a biased referees here in Mid-South. They've got to get on Dick Murdoch. Look at that, look at that. Biting. You see that, Boyd Pierce? Captain Redneck is biting the North American champion. Now the champion is conducting himself as a champion. Dick Murdoch using every underhanded tactics.
Murdoch, Hacksaw Duggan comes to the ring. Hacksaw Jim Duggan to the ring now.
He's on the outside. Perfectly legal, Boyd. Perfectly legal. Now bear in mind, Hacksaw Duggan is legal. He's outside the ring.
Going for one more time. The challenger, Dick Murdoch. And spilling outside the ring, Ted DiBiase to his aid, Hacksaw Duggan. Murdoch moves the referee Alfred Neely out of the way and uses his foot. Now, Duggan on this side. In comes the champion, Ted DiBiase, with a double chop to the back of the base of the neck. There goes Murdoch.
I believe the referee is down, Boyd Pierce.
Now to the midsection. Murdoch, an uppercut. And down goes the champion, DiBiase. No referee in the ring. Here's Duggan once more, trying to regain the apron. He has no business being out here. Crashing down, Ted DiBiase. The fans solidly behind, shouting their encouragement to Dick Murdoch.
Brainbuster, brainbuster.
Has a spear. The spear by Hacksaw Duggan. Alfred Neely regains the ring and calls what he sees.
A very courageous win for Ted DiBiase.
Another story would come into play during the DiBiase and Junkyard Dog rivalry. Mr. Wrestling 2 had been in the Mid-South territory off and on in 1982 so far, But at some point, it was no longer the real Mr. Wrestling 2 under that mask. There was a fraud.
I appreciate the fact that I'm respected enough to be able to referee this type of match and be picked to referee this type of match. And like you say, I don't exactly like being a referee, but I think there should be some people in here that can handle this situation and this caliber of a match. With these four guys, they should be able to handle the situation. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to make sure that the rules are abided by, that nobody's going to break the rules, and there'll be a fair and square winner in this type of match. I can tell you that right now, Bill.
Well, I know everybody wants to know, and you may as well spit it out. There's two of you here, and one of you, which one of you?
Let me tell you something, Bill. I heard there was a little man down here posing as Mr. Wrestling 2. I didn't believe that at first. Then I was in a match last time in the Omni. You know how fans travel all over the country? They came up to me and says, Mr. 2, there is another Mr. Wrestling 2 down here posing as you. Well, suddenly then I heard about a tag team combination and titles being at stake. Well, I start putting two and two together. And then all of a sudden, I get a telegram in my personal box that I get from dates from different parts of the country, from Grizzly Smith. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I never received anything like this. Why? Okay, so I took it upon myself, bought my own plane ticket to come down here and to find out if this was so. Well, okay, it's so. Well, let me tell you something. I don't like anyone posing as me.
It was another masked wrestler, the Grappler, that had been posing as Mr. Wrestling 2 in the territory for a couple of months.
I knew it was the true Wrestling 2, the man I had faced so many times in competition, and I'm sure Grizzly Smith knew that a plot had been nipped in the bud, a very infamous, devious plot, and we thought then that Wrestling 2 being on the scene, that Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia would get a fair shake. But as we saw later last week, probably the worst ripoff ever since I've been guesting with Boyd Pierce.
The real Mr. Wrestling 2 was to referee a tag title match between the Mid-South Tag Champions Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia versus DiBiase and Duggan.
This was a controversial issue 2 weeks ago, was whether or not there was a legal tag made, but the tape and the film definitely showed there was. But there is a legal tag. DiBiase's legal, but so did Olympia. He tagged Lightning. It's out of control there now, and even Wrestling 2, with all his ability, can't keep these four men from hooking up and going. JYD, oh, the spear! SMU, Duggan all tried to spear the JYD. JYD got off under, but Mr. Wrestling 2 caught it full in the face. JYD in there by himself as Mr. Olympia had the sleeper, but DiBiase got away from it. There's the phony Wrestling. Loading that boot, Boyd Pierce. That can only be one person. Boyd Pierce is a grappler, and he's going to go in there and try to get JYD. No, he just kicked Wrestling 2 right in the head with that loaded boot. He's counting the fall. Boyd Pierce, that man has to be the grappler. That loaded boot, he kicked Wrestling 2 in the head.
Grizzly Smith refused to acknowledge DiBiase and Duggan as new tag champions until Mid-South president Charlie Lay made a decision.
As far as Charlie Lee was concerned, The referee that was represented as starting the match did not end it, and since it was a special referee in that case, he has done for the first time ever in Mid-South Wrestling, he has reversed the decision and said that the Mid-South Tag Champions are still the Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia.
Mr. Wrestling 2 would get a fight against the grappler, the man who was the impostor, Mr. Wrestling.
One thing I noticed, Boyd, during the commercial break is that the fans were looking at the grappler and saying that's not the grappler.
But it turned out to be an imposter grappler and not the real grappler for that match.
Wrestling 2, firing away. If you've ever looked at those cold eyes under that mask, you know how tough that man is. And right now he's fed up too. And Alfred Neely just got in that melee over that mask. Alfred Neely just got thrown out. These men are fighting. Who's decided to unmask him? Both of them down. And there, ladies and gentlemen, right there, the man waiting for that golden opportunity. The grappler. What's he doing? He didn't load the boot. He's trying to insult Wrestling 2 by using his own knee lift as a weapon against the master. The grappler trying to add insult to injury right here. He's going for the coup de grace, but 2 scooped right out of the way. The master knows the defense to his own weapon, and Wrestling 2 showing who can pop that knee, and he is taking his head off.
The real grappler came out during the match for a 2-on-1.
Alfred Neely calling for the disqualification. He's seeing both men, but Wrestling 2's not stopping on the bell. He's firing away, and he's whipping them both.
DiBiase and Junkyard Dog had matches against each other at house shows. If the title was on the line, DiBiase would win by cheating or lose by DQ. Junkyard Dog did defeat DiBiase in a non-title dog collar and chain match. DiBiase was spending a lot of his time running from the dog, and he would struggle in a match against a very young Johnny Rich.
Neely counting him back in the ring. Johnny Rich, he's after him. Got a lot of fire, a lot of quickness, arm drag. It looks like DiBiase is losing the cool. He'd gone out there calm and collected as he has been since sustaining that North American title. He naturally is not looking forward to meeting the Junkyard Dog for it. He's got him with that Oklahoma ride, that cradle. He's got DiBiase down. DiBiase barely got out.
DiBiase would have to beat the young Rich with his loaded glove.
I don't think Johnny Rich is aware of it. Oh. DiBiase really tagged him.
Junkyard Dog would end the summer of 1982 with a major babyface push.
Well, nerve is one thing that a man's going to call himself a superstar. He better have it, and apparently he does, because with all the reversals he's had lately, he's taken on a man that put Ernie Ladd, Dick Murdoch, Ted DiBiase, Mike George is still out of wrestling, from what I understand.
Junkyard Dog would dominate a match against one-man gang.
Oh, a slam, 400 pounds. Oh, the thumper!
And when both Akbar and Killer Khan interfered, Junkyard Dog dealt with them too.
This strong. Slams him.
That's
He's
Killer
got
Khan.
them both. Killer Khan in the ring now. Junkyard Dog's taking on the whole army.
He wasn't in the ring, but the Junkyard Dog brought him inside.
Brought him in himself. He wants these men. Oh, that big elbow I was talking about. He goes for it. Slams him. Again, the one-man gang. The thumper. Unbelievable. Gets a 3. Unbelievable, Boyd Pierce.
You talk about professional wrestling.